sorry, but I never once loved Estarossa as my big brother, Zeldris stated, and to the shock of all there, Zeldris sheathed his blade. However, at the moment, Estarossa, Mael, whatever we wish to call him, is in my way, Zeldris declared, and he smiled, and he's in yours too. What do you mean? Merlin questioned, and Zeldris quirked an eyebrow. Don't play with me, Witch of Belialawan. You can sense him just as clearly as I can. He has absorbed 4 of the 10 commandments. Do you truly believe that giant girl, pitiful excuse for a fairy king, and that treacherous doll will survive? Possibly, if that cursed woman was still in her goddess flesh, but she's simply human now. What are you offering? Merlin questioned. Both of the supreme ranked demons looked down on their charge as well.
What are you offering, my lord?
Cusack asked. A trade. I defeat Estarossa and save your friends and receive the commandments for my true elder brother. As if someone as impudent as you would actually help us, Escanor declared, readying Rita to a laughing Zeldris. Tell me, witch, human, do you truly believe you can stop the monster that became of that goddess? Silence rang throughout the room as Ludoshel writhed on the floor in agony. I thought not, but I can and I will. And if I don't, he'll come here. The commandments are drawn to each other, so he'll desire them to further his power, Zeldris explained. So take your pick. Either Estarossa slaughters your friends and comes here to kill you all, and then I defeat him, allowing my brother to become Demon King. Or I go there, defeat Estarossa, save your friends, and then bring back the commandments to make my brother the Demon King. Your choice. Silence once again befell the room, and Merlin inhaled, glaring at him. I cannot teleport you there with the Demon King's magic activated. Zeldris nodded while all the other people present gasped. I require healing. That wild human beast of yours and that foolish goddess did quite a number to me, and while the wounds are gone, the damage is not. Sissy will heal you once you get there. She can do better than all others, Merlin said, preparing her spell. Alright then, a moment. Zeldris turned to the cocoon and chanted a spell beneath his breath, drawing out piety specifically. Apologies, brother. Having a commandment of my own will make it easier to draw out his. He reabsorbed the commandment and looked to Merlin. I'm ready when you are. Hundreds of kilometers away, the misshapen and broken goddess raised their hand, releasing the sparkling gem of love. The bright flash consumed the entire area, but as everyone expected death and pain, nothing happened. To imagine the goddess that stole my brother's heart would fall to a broken man, a voice said, and Elizabeth looked. You're Zeldris, Elizabeth said, and Zeldris looked at Mael. Heal me. What? Why should she heal you? King asked, readying Chastaful. But all it took was one look from the demonic prince to silence the fairy king. Do you wish to fight that thing yourself? Zeldris asked, and Elizabeth understood the situation instantly. Merlin. No, please, help us. Elizabeth walked over and healed Zeldris, restoring him to full power. Thank you. Stay behind me, and if you can, leave this area. I will slay Estarossa myself. Please, if you could, defeat him. Do not kill him, Elizabeth begged, and Zeldris looked at her with contempt and spawned his wings. I make no promises. The young prince rose into the air, gazing down his confused adversary who sensed what he desired within the true prince. Well, if we're being honest, I always did want to fight you. You being an imposter makes this all the sweeter. Now come, Estarossa, Mael, whatever you call yourself. Allow me to free you from your fate. All the prince received was a distorted roar in response, and the battle began. Before we hop into this battle of the former brothers, please do me a favor and leave who you think is going to win in the comment section down below. Leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already. Also, hit that little notification bell so you don't miss out on any vids that come to the channel. Now, let's get into it. What's up, guys? I got the pencil here, and let us finally discuss a battle amongst battles. Today, we open a discourse on the battle between the two younger brothers who walk in the shadows of their elder siblings. A pair of souls not connected but made brothers through a cursed fate of a lost demon. Let us talk about the battle between the second prince of the demon world, the pious prince of darkness, future king of the demons, Zeldris, and the fallen angel, the scion of both darkness and light, the strongest archangel, Mael. We'll break this fight down into power, speed, and abilities. For power, both are extremely strong. A Zeldris not at his peak destroys a late morning Escanor, Margaret body Ludoshel, and post-Infinity Merlin, manages to temporarily hold off the one, and proceeds to 1v1 a full wings single spirit king from a distance. And he even manages to trade hands with Afternoon Mael while extremely fatigued. He then slays one of his father's own creations while still extremely fatigued. Then, if you really want to give my boy Zeldris some street cred, show this panel with no context of him just absolutely dominating the Demon King, and he's extremely powerful. Then slap his commandment amp on top of him, which he didn't have throughout a majority of those feats, if not all of them, and yeah, he is good to go. Since we're talking about that young boy Mael, we'll be covering him in 3 Commandment Mael and onward. A stable Mael, for the most part, is actually pretty handily slapping up Astral Body Archangels alongside King and Gother. He one-shot Derriere, but to be fair, he took out our last heart, though it was still impressive. And 4 Commandment Mael is able to slap everyone, passively killing Sariel and Tarmiel in their astral bodies with his transformation, and while unstable, nearly killing everyone and forcing King to transform to defeat him. True Mael would be Sun Mael, whose best feats are fighting and running from Meliodas, and an Afternoon Mael going even with a fatigued Zeldris with no commandment, and then getting overwhelmed by him, needing to off-guard Zeldris in order to defeat him. Though the first feat is in an unknown time frame and the battle is unseen. The second feat is likely due to the fact that Mael was weakening because this was the afternoon, and he needed to off-guard Zeldris towards the end. For their speed, Zeldris is extremely fast, overwhelming almost every single character in the series until the end of series era, his speed overwhelming the divine territory of the Graces such as Flash and a human body, keeping up with the extremely fast characters such as Single Spear, Full Wings, King from a distance, and even being known for having the fastest blade in the Demon Realm, which is backed up to a degree by Kings flat out stating that Zeldris' moves, while tired, are better than the Captain's. Though one could easily argue King never saw a true to form Prime Meliodas, considering the Meliodas that left after the Escanor fight was stronger than the Meliodas he saw fight Escanor. He also managed to react to and straight up block the one, which is extremely impressive. At his full power without a commandment amp, while fatigued, he even blitzed an Afternoon Mael, who was just barely keeping up moments prior, though this likely has to do with the fact that Mael is getting weaker as time passes. 3 Commandment Mael is very fast, being able to keep up with 2 Astral Body Archangels and post-training King all at once, even though he's able to be caught off guard by them. Once he hits his 4 Commandment state though, he's able to casually erase 2 Astral Body Archangels with his passive transformation, and then casually deal with post-training King, Diane, and post-memories Gother all at once. However, he is unable to react to and fight a freshly transformed Full Wings King wielding 4 Spirit Spears. The reason the number of Chastity Fulls actually matters is because, as Nakabu revealed, the more Chastity Fulls King ends up using, their power and precision drop greatly. So King was dominating Mael and completely outpacing him with 4 Spirit Spears out at one time. Meanwhile, someone like Zeldris was able to handle a full regular one, admittedly from a distance. A Mael with the Grace of the Sun is much faster, being able to keep up with and fight off a fatigued Zeldris for the most part in the afternoon and survive and escape a fight with Prime Meliodas of 3,000 years past in an unknown time frame, and he should be comparable to his brother late morning and faster than him close to noon. For abilities, Zeldris has a small but potent tool set. First up is his native demon biology, including the ability to regenerate, spawn darkness, constructs like weapons and wings, and steal souls through a verbal spell or touch. He can also sense magical energy. Then for Zeldris' specific abilities, he is able to use Ominous Nebula, which is a swirling vortex of darkness that swirls darkness around him at such a massive speed that it creates a vacuum effect and draws all things in and tears them apart. It also acts as a force field and reflector, blocking all attacks and redirecting them. Then he has his gifted power, the Demon King's power, which negates all magic used against him. Then he has access to the Hellblaze, the dark flame of the Demon Clan, which negates regeneration. Then he has the Isare, which is just a dark lightning bolt that he can drop from anywhere. Then he can seal beings away with his darkness, and finally, if he really needs to, he can transform into the Endura state, which drastically amplifies his power. Mael also has a compact set of abilities. He's a demon/goddess with his commandments, meaning he can access dark powers and light powers with the commandments. His demonic powers include the darkness manipulation, the regeneration, alongside his light powers of light beams and constructs. He has both dark and light killing saucers that act as blades that can consume their target, and he can also sense energy, along with having the ability to manipulate the commandments into attacks like Light Ball of Love, a light blast that does damage yet fills the opponent with pleasure and knocks them out, the Bell of Truth, which dispels all illusion, the Scythe of Silence, which seals away magic, and the Intense of Purity, which casts illusions and weighs down an opponent. Then, once he has the Sun, he has access to his solar techniques. These include the Greatest Sun, a massive ball of fire, and Heliosphere, a concentrated wave of sun magic. He also now possesses a scalding presence that acts as a force field around him that will melt weapons. Now let's get into the battle. And let's be real. If I'm really talking about 4 Commandment Mael, he gets absolutely washed by Zeldris. I'm being completely honest, and there are multiple reasons why. One of the biggest reasons is all of Mael's attacks are going to be essentially pointless. All of his special commandment-based attacks instantly get negged by the Demon King's power. They just say no. And if not the Demon King's power, Piety's coming back in to be like, hey yo, I'm a commandment too. You can't affect me, fellow commandments. Come on, now y'all know the deal here. And then all of that is pointless. You may be able to argue that the darkness beams and like the light beams may be able to do something to Zeldris, but Zeldris is simply way too strong. Like, too strong and a bit too fast. Let's get into the main issue for Mael here, or at least a 4 Commandment Mael, which is speed. 4 Commandment Mael was getting blitzed, bodied, torn apart, whatever adjectives you want to use, or adjectives or verbs you want to use by Full Wings King. But this is a Full Wings King wielding not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 Spirit Spears against him. And he was still getting body bagged. And thanks to Knockout, we know that the Spirit Spears actually don't rise in efficiency when they rise in number. They actually decrease in efficiency. They get slower, they get weaker. Their power and precision drop by a lot, a great amount. And Zeldris was able to deal with one of them. Sure, it was from a distance. What do you think is a worse debuff? 4 Spirit Spears, which greatly drop in power and precision every single time one is spawned, or 1 Spirit Spear from a distance? I'm leaning towards 1 Spirit Spear from a distance. And Mael just couldn't do anything to Full Wings King at all. Couldn't catch him, couldn't do anything. He was too speedy, and Zeldris was able to keep up with that too speedy King. So I'd very easily say that Zeldris would just blitz this Mael. Like, literally just dissect him, beat him down, draw the command. He would essentially Full Wings King Mael, if I'm being completely real, especially with the commandment amp, and while being fully fresh and healed. That's the thing. Zeldris would absolutely mollywop a 4-command Mael with like no question. He could do it in multiple ways too. Mael doesn't have the sun ore around him, so Zeldris could really just be like, Omnis Nebula in midair, since we know he can do that. He did that against the Hermit of Moments, and just draw Mael in, slice him the ribbons, wait for Mael to regenerate, slice him the ribbons again, wait for Mael to regenerate, slice him the ribbons again, and then bada bing bada boom, rip the commandments out the room, and then good to go. Zeldris washes 4-command Mael. And I'm not even talking about 3-command Mael. Let's be completely real. Because let's take a look at who 4-command Mael, or no, 3-command Mael was struggling with. He was struggling with a post-training King. Yeah, not at Full Wings, post-training, and some Astro Body Archangels. And to be fair, that's still good, but that's like good mid-series scaling. So near end of series scaling, that isn't that impressive. And you can tell by how drastically the script flips the moment Mael gets like caught up. He got caught up by 2 Astral Body Archangels and was getting body back by Derriere, who, while extremely powerful, just doesn't come near the level of Zeldris. And that's the main unfortunate thing. So Zeldris, in my mind, just absolutely just annihilates 4-command Mael. It's no real contest, just because of how much more powerful he is through his better feats, fighting Sun Mael, doing better against the 1, being able to dominate late morning Escanor, stuff like that. All the stuff that Zeldris has actually done already, it makes 4-command Mael look like a joke. And honestly, he kind of is after Full Wings King pops out. So I'm not going to lie, Full Wings King really isn't the discussion here. Not Full Wings King. Yeah, Full Wings King is in the discussion here. A 4-command Mael is not the discussion here. Who is in the discussion is a Sun Mael. Now here's the thing. All you Mael fans, I know y'all about to be like, hey yo, but here's the thing. If we're going to give Mael all this street cred somehow, even though we've seen the man fight twice, 3 times technically against the Demon King, but he could do nothing. Remind y'all, he could do nothing against Demon King Meliodas and didn't even want to fight the Prime Demon King. Let's take a quick gander at what my boy Zeldris actually did on panel. Sure, this is the mental realm. He did this in Purgatory, but he did defeat the Demon King with Omnis Nebula and no commandment amp. So if we're cheating, because that's essentially what Mael is, because we never see Mael fight. That's the main issue. And Mael was losing. They were going even with technically Mael in the lead at first, when Zeldris and Mael first start fighting, because Mael catches him off guard. First, he's able to go sort of work his way around the Demon King's power somehow. Like, Mael straight up admits that, oh, no magic attack will work on you. And he, like Zeldris says, no, even the strongest magical attack won't work on me. And Mael's like, yeah, you spitting though. And then proceeds to hit him with some sort of magical attack, I guess, somehow, because of sunshine coursing through him or whatever. Some weird stuff like that. But even then, Zeldris works around that, figures it out, gets a little bit of that drive to him, and then body bags Mael in the afternoon. And to be fair, that's afternoon Mael. But to be fair, this is an extremely fatigued, extremely damaged, no commandment having Zeldris. And he managed to do that. And then we have no other thing for Mael. We have statements for Mael. He's the strongest of the 4 archangels. That doesn't mean much. Well, it means a lot, but it doesn't really mean much in context. Like, what does that mean? How much stronger is he? Because Ludishell says he's comparable to Mael, if not flat out stronger than him most of the time until near noon. And even then, we don't really get to see what a near noon Mael can really do. That's technically afternoon Mael. Sure, he's getting weaker instead of stronger, but we don't actually ever get to see a true Prime Mael do his thing. Like, sure, I will just give Mael the benefit of the doubt. Let's say a noon Mael would just absolutely wash Zeldris, because he's supposedly equal to Prime Meliodas. And if we go with the idea that they're both equal to each other when they're at their full power, like an assault mode Prime Meliodas with the love commandment versus the 1, even though we don't know if the 1 exists, considering Mael doesn't get altered by sunshine at all. But let's say the 1 Mael is equal to assault mode Meliodas in his prime. Then I will give Mael the win there, the dub, because personally I don't even scale Zeldris to the Demon King because it's a spirit world. But if I really want to wank my boy Zeldris and just be like, hey yo, I need my boy Zeldris to win, I'm literally just showing you this panel out of context. I'm not going to show you the rest of the chapter. Zeldris literally admits in that chapter he's not as strong as his brother or the Demon King. But in that moment, I will just straight up show you that panel and just be like, what you gonna do now? What's the strat now? Because then Mael couldn't do anything against the Demon King Meliodas' body. And then Mael didn't even want to fight the Prime Demon King. And while Zeldris didn't fight the Prime Demon King either, he fought a Demon King and washed him. To be fair, it was a spirit realm, so I don't think it really counts. But do what you will with that. But to be fair, though, to be 100% fair, due to his better statements and due to Zeldris stating his constant inferiority to his brother, I will give Mael the fattest benefit of the doubt, even though we haven't seen this fight because Nakaba decided to not show it to us. I will say that a prime full power Mael would beat Zeldris because he's supposedly equal to a prime full power Meliodas. They're supposed to be rivals, I suppose, even though we've never seen it. But I will take the general word of it, even though that word is very, very muddy. So yeah, Mael definitely takes it up if he's at noon. But I think any Mael, like, especially before the time he passes Ludishell or surpasses Ludishell, or even like a little bit of the time after that, I still think Zeldris wins, especially with the Commandment Amp. Because he already did so well without the Commandment Amp that I'd say with that little extra boost, he's beating Afternoon Mael. He's probably beating any early morning to near late morning Mael. And who knows, late morning Mael may take the edge. We need to see that fight though. Nakaba, I beg of you, as a fan of 7 Deadly Sins, just draw an actual draw Meliodas versus Mael. Please, let us see it. I need to know. And that's about it. If I'm being real, how I think the battle would go for both versions of Mael, for a 4 Command Mael, because we're not even going to talk about 3 Command Mael. 3 Command Mael will get washed. 4 Command Mael, I can see Zeldris pulling up and then instantly activating Omnis Nebula and then beating him down and then drawing out the commandments. I really think it would be that simple. And as long as Zeldris doesn't hold back, heck, Zeldris could probably just sword fight Mael to death. If I'm being completely honest, considering how he interacted with the Spirit Spear and comparing how Mael interacted with the 4 Spirit Spears, I'm pretty sure Zeldris would just sword play Mael to death. Maybe not death. Zeldris is a nice dude. He probably wouldn't kill Mael. He'd just beat the life out of him and then take his commandments and throw him to the side, just as Elizabeth asked. But if a Sun Mael pulls up on Zeldris, then it'd probably go a bit different. If it's not noontime, though, I think Zeldris knows the threat of Mael, at least according from his brother, and would instantly go for some kills. My man would not hold back. But if it's a late morning Mael or a noon Mael, then I think Mael, if he moves quick enough, will take the W. Literally just open up and be like, okay, I know this is Zeldris, I'm not going to play around. And then probably just instant punch straight through him. Especially if this is a Mael who still doesn't care about life and just wants to execute Zeldris because he's a demon. Yeah, Mael is just going to put a fist straight through Zeldris' chest and eliminate all his hearts. If we're going with like prime top tier Mael's equal to prime assault mode commandment having Meliodas, if we're going with that kind of Mael, then yeah, Mael easily takes that dub. But then if I flip it and I wank Zeldris with that panel of the Demon King getting absolutely body bagged by him, then Zeldris still wins. But there you go. Those are my thoughts on the fight. But what are your thoughts? I'd love to hear them in the comment section down below. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? Do you think there's anything I missed out that could make one of these people win or lose the fight? Please tell me in the comment section down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe, and hit the little notification bell so you don't miss out on any videos that come to the channel. Thank you guys again for watching, and I hope you all have a wonderful day. This is That Guy with the Pencil, writing off.